All right, shalom, y'all. Shalom, shalom, shalom. Uh, got a good show for you today. Um, I'm looking over my notes, and I don't think we're gonna be here super long. Um, got some, as you could tell by the title, we got a good show going for you. Um, I think it's gonna really hit well in a lot of areas where it needs to. Um, and you know this I think this is a topic that gets overlooked a lot, um, and what I'm trying to do is really uh, get down to the granular level on why a lot of people struggle with stuff. Uh, they 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 think they have what you might call a high lofty opinion of themselves. They think they're better than they really are. Maybe I don't even know if that's the best way to say it. But I think when I get through this, um, you'll get where I'm coming from. And what we're talking about today is paying attention to what you are thinking. Okay, paying attention to what you're thinking. This is a big one. It sounds it sounds like so basic, straightforward, and simple, but I mean this is the thing that everybody overlooks. And when you begin to really observe this thing and take it serious, you see how critical it is. And I got some examples to drive that point home. When you look out here, I gotta keep going back to this situation that's going on right now, where you got a bunch of these content creators going back and forth, and I mean now it just got real. You know what I'm saying? Um, it just got real now because now folks talk about fighting and guns and all this stuff, so they done you know making little threats, low key threats back and forth, and it's getting kind of ugly and it's getting kind of, you know, out of pocket. And it's amazing because like some of these content creators out here, like I said, you got a bunch from going back and forth, and it's amazing, you know. I'll be honest with you, out of this whole situation that's going on with New Breed, Mark the Messenger, Ringo. There's some other dude, I don't know his name. He wears sunglasses. He kind of seemed kind of strange, cause in his video, he said, "Yeah, Ringo, I like your lips and I like your teeth." I was like, "What? What are you talking about, bro?" So anyway, but just watching all this stuff, man, these dudes, this thing they're pushing and the way they go about things, literally Ringo is the only one that is just coming straight down the middle and saying it the way he sees it. He ain't ducking no smoke. He ain't throwing subliminals and all that stuff like that. He calling it out the way it is. These other guys are throwing a lot of subliminals and just broad statements because they don't want anybody to know who they're talking about, not dealing with stuff directly. And I guess what they're trying to do is just protect their channel and their following. protect their numbers, you know. But and a lot of these other dudes, they're like, they literally anything that makes them feel uncomfortable is a demon. They're calling everybody and everything a demon, except their actions and their behaviors and the way they're conducting themselves. And they literally act like rebuke is the new evil, according to a lot of these dudes. It's like rebuke is the new evil. Um, but what it all comes down to, y'all, this is so heavy. It's paying attention to your thoughts, man. You have to pay attention to your thoughts. It's not a game. Spirits are real, demons are real, and they could get you. And I was listening to something this morning, and the dude, what he was talking about was how what they've done research, and when people commit suicide, like a lot of times what they will do is they will they'll like if they're gonna hang themselves, they'll tie their own hands behind their back or something, and they'll do it in a way because what they've noticed is at suicide, when right when it's too late, there's regret, and they start fighting because they realize something. And there's a video out there. I saw it a while ago. The dude played it in the thing I saw this morning. There's a video. This dude, he was depressed, and he went to the Golden Gate Bridge, and he jumped off the Golden Gate Bridge, and he survived. And he said the second he jumped off the bridge, immediately something left him, and he was regretting it. And what that was a spirit. But as soon as he jumped off, immediately he wanted to live. All the way up to the second that he jumped off that bridge, he did not want to live. He wanted to commit suicide. The second he jumped off that bridge, he wanted to live. And what they were saying, they went when they see suicide sites or whatever, they can see where the person was trying to fight to live. Why? Because as soon as it's too late, them spirits leave you. Them spirits are gone. It's all a spiritual deception. And like I said, I think he said they got a name for it, but stuff like that creeps into your mind when you're not paying attention to what's going on in your mind. When you're not paying attention to what's going on in your head, and not just paying attention to it, but when you're not making it a priority to get your mind right, to get your mind in alignment with the word of Yah, when you're not doing that, you'll get to that point. These spirits will have you acting a fool out here, and they will kill you. Um, you listen. They talk about a lot of people who've gotten mad. Um, the prisons are full of people who something happened and they just snapped. Boom. If they snapped, and they tell you, and then all I seen was red, and the next thing you know, I was just standing over the body. Something is like something took control of me. And what you did, you let a demon come in and take full control of you. And you just gone. Mind blown, like you got demonically possessed. You hear the stories all the time. How do you get to a point like that? By constantly neglecting to do the work you need to do on yourself. Okay? That's how you get uh, to a point like that. Um, Let me show y'all something. Oh wow, trying to. Okay, there it is. But that's how you get to a point like that, is not paying attention to your thoughts, neglecting what's between these ears. And then just, you know, time after time, you know what I'm saying? Over time, it gets the best of you. And, you know, it just over time, more them spirits get a stronger and a stronger foothold in you, and you keep going, and them spirits get a stronger foothold in you, and stronger until they have you acting a fool. They have you doing their will. That's why the word tells you, be vigilant. It tells you, be watchful, for your enemy, the devil, as a roaring lion, he walketh about seeking who he may devour. Seeking. He's looking. He's looking for the one not paying attention to what he's thinking and what thoughts are popping up in his mind. He's seeking and he's looking for him. He's looking for him just like a lion creeps up on something. Boom. It creeps up real quietly, okay? And, uh, you know, it's just, and then eventually pounces on him and devours it. And who do these lions go after? The complacent ones, the young, the weak ones, whether they're real old or real young, or just not paying attention, too busy eating, gratifying the flesh to be paying attention. Like, he seeks out the best, most vulnerable target, and he gets you. And it's just very disturbing to hear that about, that suicide, man. And you could just imagine how that happened. That spirit sitting there whispering to you, just you and that spirit. But it's really you're thinking it's you. It's just you talking to you. And then you go through with that act, and the next thing you know, you get a split second to realize you was deceived. It wasn't you. You was possessed with something. There was something intelligent there, sitting there, whispering to you. You see what I'm saying? Just in your ear, talking to you. Even though, if you were in your word, if you were meditating on the word day and night, you would know that was a spirit talking to you, getting you to do that, because you're not doing what the word says. You going off, you bugging out. You would know if you were meditating on that word day and night, man. And look, man, they're trying to make it tough out here to do that now. with the social media, the way the way these algorithms are, boy, they cranking these algorithms up. Interest-based algorithm. The interest-based algorithms, the algorithms on social media used to be based on who and what you follow. Okay? So if you subscribe to this channel and you subscribe to that channel and you were subscribing to this, that, and the other, that's what you would get. That's what they would send to you. And I was just listening to Gary V's book, and he was talking about this. That's where I got this from. But what would happen as you grow or mature or change, all those things you're subscribed to, all those different channels and people you're following, it begins to change. You're not into all that anymore. So it doesn't interest you and hold your interest, your attention as much. So what they have now, and TikTok came up with this new way of this new system of algorithms. What TikTok came up to is an interest based algorithm. They don't care who you follow. That algorithm is watching what you watch. So whatever it sees you liking, it sends you more of that. It don't care who you subscribe to. Whatever your mind is leaning towards liking, it's just gonna keep feeding you that. And that's why and how just over the last year and a half, you've noticed some of y'all are probably so inattentive you can't even pick up on it. But if you really locked in and paying attention, you can see the algorithms, these social media platforms, man, they can hook you in so hard. It's crazy. It's powerful. And again, it goes right back. It's so critical for us to be watching our thoughts, watching what we're thinking, and taking care for what's going on in our heads, how distracted we are. You know what I'm saying? Me included. Okay? Um, so talking about being deceived in your mind. And okay, this is a big one. You got to understand your thoughts can deceive you. You must excuse me. You must scrutinize your thoughts. You have to scrutinize them. What does scrutinize mean? Y'all might not know what scrutinize means. Scrutinize means examine or inspect closely and thoroughly. You have to scrutinize your thoughts. Okay? You got to really get in the habit of just paying attention to what you're thinking. Eventually, it'll be second nature to you to just pay attention to what's going on in your head. Okay? The people who wrestle with doing this, and you'll see these people, man, literally they automatically reject criticism. Okay? So, and these are the reasons why a lot of people, man, the this is the fruit that comes forth when you're not paying attention to your thoughts. You're not taking any time to work on yourself. And if you're not doing that, you're going to give place to Satan. Satan going to begin speaking to you, whispering in that ear. You're going to begin sounding like Satan. So it says in my notes here, so this is what happens when you begin to neglect your mind, your mindset. When you stop working your salvation out with fear and trembling, it's like you automatically begin to just reject any type of criticism. You become defensive and insecure. Um, Defensiveness. You're very defensive. This involves shielding oneself from criticism by denying its validity or attacking the critic. Like literally, it's not, you refuse to even think about considering looking at yourself. So you vary to any type of criticism or anything like that. Insecurity. People who automatically reject criticism might have underlying insecurities or low self esteem, leading them to perceive any negative feedback as a personal attack. Okay? And at this is the point at which, when you study the word tells you, hey, if people are operating like this, back away from them. Don't treat them like an enemy, but remove yourself from them. Okay, I talked a little bit about this yesterday. Another mindset tactic thing that gets used when people are just refusing to take the journey inwards and get to know themselves and work on their own mind is dismissal. This is similar to rejection, but with a more dismissive attitude, often implying that the criticism is unimportant or irrelevant. So they literally just flip the script. There's a myriad of deflection techniques that get used when you refuse to look at yourself, to take the journey inwards. Uh, Another one, resistance. This suggests a more active opposition to the criticism, often accompanied by arguments or counter arguments. Understanding the root cause of their behavior can be helpful in addressing it. So, again, and at the root of this thing is people not knowing themselves and people not willing to get to know themselves. And what happens, we come up, look, I did it for years. This is how I know about this so in depth. What happens, we come up with this, what's a good word for it? A high, lofty opinion of ourselves, of who we are. And it's a fake facade. And if anybody challenges that, it's met with resistance or dismissal or defensiveness. You know what I'm saying? In some way, it's sidestepped or whatever. Okay. So, what are the emotional factors when we're not willing to take that journey inwards and consider, like, because what I said in the show yesterday is any situation you're in, even if you think it's 100% the other person's fault, that's it doesn't matter. There has never been a situation I've been in where I wasn't at the bare minimum 50% responsible for. You are not going to be in a situation in which 50% of the fault is yours. And like people who have an inability to do this work, to look at themselves, consider themselves, they're like, no, 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 I don't receive that. No, I can't do that. Cannot look at self type stuff. You know what I'm saying? The emotional factors that trigger this, a lot of fear. A lot of fear. Fear of failure. Criticism can be perceived as a validation of mistakes and inadequacies, leading to fear of failure, a spirit of fear. Low self-esteem. People with low self-esteem may interpret criticism as a personal attack on their worth. Okay? But you know what I break low self-esteem down to? You don't know yourself. You don't know who you are. You don't know how you react. You don't understand how and why you react the way you do. And you don't know it. And then on top of that, once you get to know that, you got to know how, the reason why you react the way you do, what created that, what caused that. You know what I'm saying? There's just some introspection that has to be done. Okay? Let's pull that up real quick. I'm going to pull up the definition for introspection real quick for you. Okay. and that is the examination or observation of one's own mental or emotional process. Okay? Having the humility to look at yourself. And guess what? Guess what's the best time to look at yourself? Guess when you're on full display. When you're in some type of crisis situation, when some stuff's going on. You'll find out who you really are. So embarrassment, being criticized publicly can be humiliating. Okay, leading to a desire to avoid the situation. Discomfort. Being embarrassed can be humiliating. But a lot of us, because we're full of so much pride, we need to be humiliated so we could practice being humble. But a lot of people don't want to go through that fire. Okay, they don't want to go through the furnace of affliction. People often protect themselves from criticism by denying it, blaming others, or rationalizing their behavior. Okay? So that the fear is so strong, they're going to do anything and they're going to find a way to not be wrong or be embarrassed. Those who, with a fixed mindset, believe their abilities are static, making it difficult to accept criticism as an opportunity for growth. We're going to read a Bible verse that's going to, shed some light on how we got to deal with these situations, because you're going to grow in them public embarrassment or private, whatever, these situations where you're going to see who the truly righteous people are, because they're willing to admit where they're off at. They're not gonna move in a certain way. So we'll go into a little further. Let me read the scripture. Matthew chapter 5 verse 10. Blessed are they which are persecuted for righteousness' sake, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are ye when men shall revile you and persecute you, and shall say all manner of evil against you falsely for my sake. Rejoice and be exceedingly glad, for great is your reward in heaven. For so persecuted they the prophets which were before you. So this is how the word tells us to handle it. And I just want to go to find that word for you. Blessed are ye when men shall revile you. Okay? And revile means criticize in an abusive or angry, insulting manner. Y'all, that's book. That's gospel book. You see what I'm saying? That ain't Michael Israel's feelings or emotions or nothing like that. That's just straight book. So I'm saying that because, and it's happened to me. When you're wronged, I've been wronged before, but when I'm wronged, it's like, am I going to try to prove myself to be right at the expense? Now, what's the cost of me going through all this stuff to try to show myself right or whatever in some situation? Well, the cost of that is, if I'm busy doing that, I'm not going to be able to get this right. I'm not going to be able to get my mind right. You see what I'm saying? Because I'm too busy focused outwardly, I'm not going to be able to focus inwardly. Okay? I wrote, it's easy to lash out and get mad and defend yourself. It's hard. I'm going to tell you what's hard. It's hard to quiet down and look within. Y'all, that is the journey, is to shut up and quiet down and look within and see where you are. It requires a spirit of boldness. You can't be operating in fear. You got to have humility. You got to have gentleness and kindness, because you got to be real subtle with yourself, because it's a very vulnerable thing to do. But this is how you work your salvation out, with fear and trembling. It's easy, but it's fruitless to be focused externally on everything going on externally. But to take that journey inward and to look within, that's where the gold is at. That's where the nuggets are. That's where the spiritual growth and the spiritual development is. It's inward. It's working your salvation out with fear and trembling. Not trying to prove anything to anybody else. You understand what I'm saying? 1 Peter chapter 2, verse 19. This is a scripture I talked about. For this is thankworthy, if a man for conscience towards God endure grief, suffering wrongfully. For what glory is it, if when ye be buffeted for your faults, ye shall take it patiently? So if you're buffeted for your faults and you legitimately have faults, you should take it patiently. But what this scripture is saying here is that, yeah, that's easy to do. But if you want to see somebody who's truly in alignment with the Most High Yah, it says, but if when you do well and suffer for it, ye take it patiently, this is acceptable with God. So yeah, we're gonna hit some good ones here. Ecclesiasticus, y'all know what it is. Chapter 2, verse 1. I'm trying to tell y'all. My son, if thou come to serve the Lord, prepare thy soul for temptation. Set thy heart aright, and constantly endure, and make not haste in time of trouble. Cleave unto him, and depart not away, that thou mayest be increased at thy last end. Whatsoever is brought upon thee, take cheerfully, and be patient when thou art changed to a low estate. When you're reduced to a low estate, take it patiently. I remember I got reduced to a low estate years ago coming into this, where, like I said, where I worked at, the whole shop or whatever turned against me. And instead of lashing out against them, I was praying to forgive them and let go of the bitterness I was holding against the people. And the Most High showed me that I need to serve them like, treat every one of them like they're my boss, from the lowest to the highest, with respect, and be obedient, stop bucking against them and all that. And that's what I did. And the favor of Yah began to come upon me. Next thing you know, I was eligible for retirement. I found a job where I wasn't working on the weekends. I could enjoy the Shabbat. I didn't have to worry about getting deployed somewhere. And when I got on that new job, having this new mindset, I had favor. And, I won't go into all of it, but I did the least amount of work I ever did and had the most favor I ever did. Like, I go to work and do my job, but people didn't care whether I worked or not because I just had favor with everybody. If I wanted to move and work in another section or whatever, I could just ask and boom, I'd be moved. Okay? That was a while ago. Um, it says, whatsoever is brought upon thee, take cheerfully, not miserably, not all angry and upset, not argumentatively. It said, take it cheerfully and be patient when thou art changed to a low estate. For gold is tried in the fire, and acceptable men in the furnace of adversity. See, this is a time when you're reduced to a low estate for you to reflect and look at yourself. Believe in him, and he will help thee. Order thy way aright, and trust in him. Ye that fear the Lord, wait for his mercy, and go not aside, lest ye fall. Ye that fear the Lord, believe him, and your reward shall not fail. Okay? And that brings us to this scripture, Proverbs chapter 4, verse 23. KJV. Keep thy heart with all diligence, for out of it are the issues of life. Okay? Proverbs chapter 4, verse 23. Now we're going to read it in the easy read version. That's literally a Bible version. But I like the breakdown they had of this verse. With the way the easy read version breaks it down is, be careful how you think. Your life is shaped by your thoughts. Okay? And a lot of people, man, we don't have a lot of time on earth. You don't want to sit there and just waste your life on meaningless stuff. Okay? Because what you're told to do in this word is you're told to Corinthians chapter 10 verse 5 your thoughts. Corinthians 10 verse 5 is casting down imaginations and every high thing that exalts itself against the knowledge of God, and bringing into captivity every thought to the obedience of Christ. You see what I'm saying? And guess what? You're not going to convince anybody to do that. You're not going to argue anybody into doing that. The only thing you can do is do it for yourself. You see what I'm saying? That's what you can do. And that's where the title from this video came from, is be careful how you think. Your life is shaped by your thoughts. And that's why you got people out here that operating in sin and foolishness and wickedness. And if what they're doing is not lining up with the word, remove yourself from them. You see what I'm saying? So somebody put a heavy statement in here. Somebody said, bless you, Big Mike. Some people would rather be right than be at peace. That, I gotta say, that's big old facts right there. Big old facts. So yeah, I just want to come in here, put that in here. Like I said, I didn't come in here to be before you for long, but don't listen, y'all. This is so heavy. Remember that story I told y'all at the beginning of this video with these people, man. These people, or what they found in their research, is people going to commit suicide, what they find is there's immediate regret, but by then it's too late. And that one guy actually lived to talk about it. He jumped off the Golden Gate Bridge, and the minute he jumped, all them feelings left him, and he wanted to live. But he thought it was too late. He hit that water. Now, don't get it twisted. He hit that water, and he paid. Because his shit got twisted up. Like his back, broke his back. Like he was jacked up. But he lived. And he lived to tell the testimony. And you should go check it out. And what it was, that spirit that had got on him and deceived him, it left him. When it figured, okay, he done. And it probably had taken a bunch of people over to that bridge and dumped them off. It's real talk, y'all. That's real talk. So, like that verse I read, I'm going to read it again. Be careful how you think. Your life is shaped by your thoughts. Keep thy heart with all diligence, for out of it are the issues of life. Okay? And that verse I said, that was just read from the easy read version or something like that. But it broke it down good. With that said, appreciate all y'all tuning in. I'm Michael Israel. Shalom, shalom.